The festive season is upon us once again, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, we've got those Christmassy jingles that come out, which play on every single radio station, play in every single supermarket you walk into, and of course, on every single advert you see on TV. And hey, if the channel's monetized at this point, you may very well have seen a Christmas advert. Targeted ads at its finest. So, to celebrate the season, I decided to go back through and have a look at all of the songs that have been released which have managed to hit #1 on the charts, because that is truly a measure of what makes a good Christmas song. So, looking through this list, there was, the usual songs you'd expect, but there was one entry in particular, one song by an artist, which really caught my attention because it was unlike anything else on there. I'm, of course, talking about the Christmas #1 by a band called Rage Against the Machine, with the one and only Killing in the Name. Hello! Welcome to Brain Spill, the laziest show on the internet. My name is Tank, and we are about to talk about one of the finest internet campaigns ever to grace the internet. But to get there, we need to go all the way back to the years 2005 to 2008. The battle for the Christmas #1 single has always been a fierce one, in particular in the UK, where the breadth of musicians releasing music around the holiday period makes the fight for the top spot very sought after. So how do you guarantee that you win the Christmas #1 every year? Well, you make a TV show that is based on finding the top talented singers and musicians right before the Christmas period. The winner of that contest is then to release music just in time for the Christmas #1 battle. And with their song fresh out of the competition and on one of TV's most popular shows, it is almost a guarantee that if an artist releases a song who's just been on the programme, they're probably going to get the #1 spot. Yes, so with an artist that's so new but still so fresh in everybody's minds, it makes sense. And that is what the TV show X Factor did for 4 years straight. And by that point, I think everybody had just had enough. However, nobody was more annoyed by this pushed media plastic music bullshit than a man called John Mortar, mastermind behind what would become one of the greatest internet campaigns to ever happen. He was so tired of the same thing happening each year that he decided to start a campaign online, a quest to knock X Factor off the top spot for the year 2009 and have a very different artist get the #1 spot. But for such a campaign to work, you can't just get anybody to challenge the Christmas #1 spot. You need an artist that's gonna surprise people, someone who goes completely against the norm, a band that nobody expected would even come close to ever getting a Christmas #1. So what he decided to do was launch a campaign on Facebook, because yes, back in 2009, Facebook was still relatively new and cool, not as it is now where everybody's parents are on it, but back in the day when Facebook was still okay, I guess, he decided to make a campaign because that's where his people were at, on the internet, ready to help him support his cause. The plan was pretty simple. All everybody had to do was, when it came to the week where there was the battle for the Christmas #1, everybody had to go out there and buy the song Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine. And simply spread the word. Get as many people as possible to buy this song in hopes that it might overtake whichever other artist is there ready to try claim the #1 spot. In this case, it was pretty much going to be whoever won X Factor that year. That's all well and good, but the issue here is that X Factor weren't messing around this year. The winner of the 2009 show was none other than Joe McElderry. You may have heard of this guy. He crawls out of his cave once a year to collect his Christmas royalties. But at the time, he was the big don. He was the one who was destined for the 2009 Christmas #1 spot. As you might imagine, the competition was fierce, with the Facebook page having about 750,000 people on board ready to carry out this plan. So clearly the campaign was picking up pace. This wasn't just an offshoot, one idea that somebody had. People genuinely believed that this could be done. Looking at these numbers, you might think that it was easy pickings, but what seemed to give X Factor the edge over the competition was the fact that they said that every purchase of the song would donate some of the money to charity. Therefore, the Rage Against the Machine campaign wanted to do one better. They initially encouraged their supporters to donate to charity, in particular to the homeless charity shelter. Then, something even better happened when the members of the band, Rage Against the Machine themselves, caught wind of what was happening, and they said that they would donate all the proceeds of the song to the charity shelter. What guys? And what a good reason to stick your middle finger up at Simon Cowell. Talking about Simon Cowell, you may recognise that name and this face as the guy who is a judge on the X Factor programme. And as you might imagine, for somebody who is in such a position who's able to influence the artists who are making songs before the Christmas No.1 battle, he was pretty incensed by the fact that somebody would have the gall or the cheek to stand up to the might of the X Factor, and pretty much just expressed his disdain by the fact that anybody would even comprehend trying to stop their rigged Christmas No.1 battle. It's quite a cynical campaign geared at me, which is absolutely going to spoil the party for these 3 X Factor finalists. I also think it's incredibly dismissive of the people who watch and enjoy the show, where they treat our audience as if they're stupid. I don't like that. I think the campaign is aimed directly at me. It's stupid. Me having a No.1 record at Christmas time is not going to change my life particularly. It does, however, change these guys' lives. We put this opportunity there so the winner of the X Factor gets the chance of having a big hit record. You know what? I'll give him this. At least he's self-aware enough to know that a lot of people backed the campaign just to get one over on him personally, not so much the X Factor finalists who are actually making the music. I mean, I don't think many people really like Simon Cowell. There was even criticism that Rage Against the Machine were signed to Sony, the same company Simon Cowell had an interest in, saying that the reality is that he would not have been personally affected even if Rage Against the Machine won the Christmas No.1 battle. This may have been true, but I think it was more of a message than anything. Almost too Rage Against the Machine. The campaign would even start picking up steam from other people in the industry, such as Dave Grohl, Paul McCartney, Muse, The Prodigy, and many, many more. News articles were even catching wind of what was happening and the fact that this could actually happen. And you know for a fact that if the news media has to report on this story, that this is as mainstream as it can get. And this, of course, would only help the campaign, getting more and more people involved, people that may not have necessarily been aware of the campaign, to have a look and maybe also buy the single too. And then, of course, we have the infamous BBC Radio 5 involvement with the campaign, which would highlight the entire campaign in the best way possible. Just not so much what the BBC intended anyway. They basically invited Rage Against the Machine to perform live on the radio, the song which is being promoted, Killing in the Name. Now, for anybody that knows the song and knows the lyrics, it's not exactly the most radio-friendly song, so this must have been a hard decision to make, but with how popular this campaign was becoming, they didn't really have a choice, so it's a pretty funny watch. The BBC did have a stipulation, and they said that they would only allow the band to perform live if they self-censored themselves. Basically, at every point that they were meant to swear, they just didn't. And, you know, the band agreed. And I bet you'll never guess what happened next. What makes this even funnier is the lyrics themselves tend to go on and say, "I won't do what you tell me." So the BBC must have had it coming. During the live performance, and particularly during the last chorus, where the band had self-censored themselves up to this point, lead singer Zach De La Roche would spurt out the infamous "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me," to which the plug was almost immediately pulled live and hilarity ensued. It's on YouTube too, so you can watch this performance, and trust me, it is absolutely class. Anyway, the campaign ran from the 15th to the 20th of December, a short window of time in which people could go and buy the song, in particular to see if they could outsell the X Factor finalist who was also releasing their song at the same time. That's it. The time period is cut off. No more purchases. The public simply has to now wait to see who came out on top of this epic battle. On the 20th of December 2009, BBC Radio 1 revealed that the song had reached the #1 spot, selling more than 500,000 copies and being the first download-only single to become the UK Christmas #1. That is legendary. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking out there. You might feel genuinely sorry for Joe, who was also releasing his song at the same time. I don't think it was anything personally against him. He just so happened to be the winner of the wrong year, where people had had enough of the X Factor at this point. And it's fine, he managed to get his #1 the week after, so it's okay, he still got what he wanted, and he's gone on to live some music career. Honestly, I don't really know. My research pretty much stopped at that point, so I couldn't really tell you what else he's doing now. But this campaign just goes to show how much we can achieve when we all put our minds together and our money to see if we can outperform a song by the X Factor. In the end, a cheque was presented by Rage Against the Machine to the Shelter charity for £62,000 for the proceeds, all from the sales of the single, to which they were eternally grateful for. Who knew that sticking it to Simon Cowell's face and raising money for a good cause would feel so damn good? The band even did a victory lap and decided to do a free concert in the UK at Finsbury Park for 40,000 people, and oh boy, what a set list that was. Playing Testify, Bomb Track, People of the Sun, Know Your Enemy, Bulls on Parade, Township Rebellion, Bullet in the Head, White Riot, a cover of The Clash, Guerrilla Radio, Sleep Now in the Fire, Freedom, and of course, Killing in the Name. Yes, that is a set list which would go down in the ages. The song would even go on to feature in the 2011 UK edition of the Guinness World Records under the category of the fastest selling digital track in the UK, after recording 502,672 downloads in its first week. Who'd have thought? If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be notified as soon as I upload my next video, be sure to hit the bell button. And if you've got any ideas for what topics you'd like me to discuss next, let me know down in the comments below. As always, sources used in the video will be in the description. This is all really cool, and not only is it something different, but I actually remember the Christmas of 2009, and that was one of the things that really stood out to me. More so because the Christmas party I went to that year was basically playing Rage Against the Machine for some part of the night, and mosh pits ensued. It was all good fun, and of course, within the Christmas spirit. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.